Let's
Say whatever you want about sports. Say whatever you want about their problems, their contradictions, their imperfections. But always remember one thing: sports bring us together.
Becoming a Bears fan starts at birth.
Section 250 is a very tight-knit group. We're the core.
It's the experience of going every single week.
Sylvia, stop them!
Good morning. You're on the trading post. Go ahead, please.
I have for sale some ramps.
Yep, thank you. Do you know anybody that's a Chicago Bears fan?
How would you gamble?
Just a dinner.
What's the dollar amount on that?
$200.
Family is extremely important. It's the core and the foundation for who we are.
I do talk about the Bears a lot. My kids learned most of their swear words from me watching Bears games.
Yes. My wedding day is a huge part of my life. If Mike is watching the Cubs game, I'd be very, very angry.
For the Cubs to go to the World Series, I think we're going to find a way to get a TV and celebrate if they win that game.
This is Section 250, a story about faith, family, and the fans around you.
Let's go. Section 250. And we have our guy here, Mike Schaefer. He was, as you see in the video, he was featured in it. And he's also, from Deep Dish Tees. And welcome to Brags in the Stands, Mike. What was that like? Showing that little promo. Obviously, that was a documentary done by ESPN a few years ago. What was it like being featured in that?
Well, I have goosebumps now. So I haven't seen that in a long time, so I appreciate you bringing that back. It was wild, man. I mean, it was like, I think what every kid dreams of. You grow up being a Bears fan, and if somebody tells you you're going to be on an ESPN series, 8 episodes, a focal point, it's mind-blowing. So it was a great time. We really enjoyed doing it, and seeing those clips brings back a lot of pretty cool memories.
Yeah, that's amazing. So ESPN just decided to do. They only did the Bears, or did they have other teams they featured as well? Like, how did they decide that Section 250 of all places was where they were going to feature this?
Yeah, so we got really lucky. Chad Millman, one of the executive producers at ESPN, has Chicago roots, so it was his idea before he went to the Action Network. To produce a show about fans. What are they doing in their lives outside of game day? And I think they threw a dart at a dartboard and it landed on Section 250. They made some calls, and the next thing you know, we're in the middle of the series.
That's amazing. And again, like I mentioned before, you're from Deep Dish Tees. And so you've been making a little waves here lately with your gaitors. As you can see, I've got mine on. You got the GSH on. You've got yours on as well. Why don't you give the viewers a little story and tell us a little bit about how you came up with this? Because I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, I mean, preseason, this was just an idea that I wanted to make one for myself. Matt Nagy had been wearing the Navy gaiter with orange stripes in preseason, and me, just like a lot of people, went online to see where can I buy one. They weren't anywhere to be found, so I figured I would just make one. And making one turned into making a few for friends, family members. And I decided, well, the blue looks cool. Let's make a white one, and let's make an orange one. And so I shipped them up to Lake Forest to Hallis Hall with Matt Nagy's name on an envelope. And I just assumed it would either sit on his desk, never to be opened, buried among other things that people send him. And lo and behold, the day of the Saints game, panned to the sidelines, and he's wearing the white gaiter, and I lost my mind. One of the coolest things I've ever seen.
So
from there.
So now he's wearing it on the sidelines. Now, when you came up with this idea, did you approach the Bears right away, or once it took off, then did you make it? Because now I know that all the proceeds go towards Bears Care. Why don't you give us a little backstory behind that?
Yeah, for sure. This was never meant to be something I would make money on.
Sure.
I do have a T-shirt business on the side. My full-time job keeps me more than busy for more than 40 hours a week. Do that as a hobby. But as it started to pick up steam, I figured there's enough fucked up shit in the world right now that if you have an opportunity to do something good and you've got the means to do it, that you have to. So I saw that opportunity right away, and I figured, let's see what we can do and raise some awareness and try to make this check to Bears Care as big as possible. So that's where we are.
Well, I love all the work you've done. I've come across your Twitter. I think the day I found you on Twitter was you do a lot of jersey design. You actually predicted the throwbacks they were going to wear last year, months before anyone else had it. And I remember that always stuck out in the back of my head. I'm like, how did he know that? You've always kind of had a knack for this, and now you've started your own little shirt company, and that's kind of where you can get these gaitors and other cool Chicago apparel. And this is kind of a little bit of his, website here. And there's the .com for all you watching right now. This is where you can go find that stuff. What are some of the inspiration behind some of the other stuff that you got on here? Because you got some really cool designs, Mike.
Yeah, I don't know what the inspiration is. I think a lot of alcohol.
Because I love the hat, the GSH hat. That's on point. You got a lot of really cool stuff, man.
It just kind of comes to you, and sometimes it's like you wake up at like 4:30 on a Saturday morning and that idea pops in your head, and I'll sprint to the living room and I'll mock up a design and throw it on a shirt or throw it on a hat. So a lot of it's just stuff that over the years, I always thought that I wanted to do something like this as a hobby and for fun, and now I'm finally able to do so. So it's been pretty cool.
100%. We got some people in the chat. Zach wants to know where he can get these. And as we just showed at the bottom of the screen, you can get these at deepdish.myshopify.com. And really, really, really great stuff you got here. Again, Mike, I want to bring you on to promote that for sure, because like I said, I got a couple myself. I've already put in some more orders, so you got me hooked, my man. And so Monday Night Football tonight, we got Bears Vikings. The Bears are reeling right now, 3-game losing streak. I was in Nashville last week, and I think I showed up more than the Bears offense did that day. What are your thoughts going into tonight? I know we're getting Cody Whitehair back last minute. Eric Kush is a new addition, so maybe there's some stuff on the offensive line. And the big news of the night is Bill Lazor will be calling the plays ahead of Matt Nagy, and I think a lot of Bears fans have been calling for that. What are your expectations going to this big Monday night tilt against the Vikings on the lakefront?
Yeah, I expect the Bears to play on both sides of the ball, to play a little bit better than they've been playing. I think you have to be inspired when your leader does something like that. And I don't care if it's athletics or if it's business or whatever. When a leader puts the team in front of themselves, everybody's going to perform a little bit better. So we all know Matt Nagy loves to call plays. It's one of his favorite things about coaching. He's given it up for the good of the team. So I do expect that you see a little bit stronger of an effort on both sides. I don't think play calling will be that much better. I don't think it's going to be that much more noticeable. They still have some weaknesses that I don't think you overcome just by changing your play caller. But I do expect a better effort. I expect the Bears to win. I expect you got two teams that are going in opposite directions, but it's a collision course in prime time on the lakefront at Soldier Field. No fans, but I don't think that's going to matter. I think the Bears are going to come out with a win tonight.
Well, I hope you're right. I do my weekly picks in the midway minute for my guy Kevin Kadick, and I have the Bears losing again, so I hope I'm wrong. I just haven't felt good. It's kind of like a show me thing. Yurko was saying show me, and I'm kind of in the same point. Definitely before I let you jet, though, one design on your new shop is the one from, a little inspiration from We the Fans. I did want you to maybe tell this story too, because this is probably my favorite story and design of all the different things you have on there.
Yeah, if there's one thing I miss, there's a lot I miss about being at Bears games. The one thing I miss the most is Terry. He is the staple. He is in our section. He fuels us, literally, with beer. I miss him so much, and we haven't really been able to connect much in the offseason this year. But guys like Terry, they make a living off of their income that they generate from being in the stadium. Us not being there has an impact on guys like Terry. So, this was my way of kind of paying a tribute to Terry this season. Missed the hell out of that guy. Hopefully he's got some cold ones waiting for me, either the year this year or next season when we come back.
Well, how cool of you to do that for him. You know, I'm sure he had to be extremely humbled by the gesture, and it's an amazing design. Again, you just are so good with those too. And, you know, I know he's got to be a huge Anthony Miller fan, right? If Miller with the last name Miller, you know, hopefully he can get going here and, you know, round out a good career with the Bears. So that could be a happy jersey. Maybe we'll have to pass him along because, you know, like you said, all the workers, that's something like, I'm like you. I love being at the game, being in the energy. And, you know, people call me the mayor because when I go around the stadium, I'm talking to everybody. I'm shaking everybody's hands. And I miss the beer vendors. I miss the people that do the tickets and everybody else moving you around. They're the people at Soldier Field really take care of you, and I can't wait to get back. But, you know, like I said, this is a little quick pregame show tonight, and I wanted to bring you on, Mike. You've been doing such a cool job with these gaitors. Like I said, I got mine tonight. I'll be wearing it very loud and proud, and I know a lot of Bears fans will. And, of course, Matt Nagy, I'm sure. Well, so do you think he's going to be rocking the orange tonight? You know, I'm assuming he's going to want to switch it up, right? Because they're on a losing streak, so you might have to go with the orange gator tonight like you got on, right?
I've got no inside information, Greg, but I will say I do know that there is an orange gator that made its way to Hallis Hall. So I don't know if he's got it, I don't know if he's going to wear it, but if I was a betting man, I might put a bet on orange tonight.
Okay, well, final thoughts, Mike, before we let you jet on the game. I know you gave a little synopsis of what you think is to come for the game. Why don't you give us your final shouts and final thoughts for the Bears game here on Braggs in the Stands, my man?
Yeah, final thought on the game. I've got the Bears winning 24-23. It'll come down to a late field goal. Either a miss by the Vikes or a make by the Bears. Hopefully make by the Bears. And I just want to say thank you to you. Thank you to all Bears that have supported the movement. All proceeds of these GSH masks will go to Bears Care. So it's going to a great cause. You look good, you stay safe, and you're doing something good. So thank you all for helping, and let's continue to promote.
No, shout out to you, Mike. They're great contribution. You know, everybody kind of does a little something different on Bears Twitter, and what you do on Deep Dish Tees is real spot on, real on point. We got some fun designs here, but I always like to give shout and credit where credit is due, and you certainly deserve it here, and I hope you hit your number and then some, and you know we're going to help you over here at Braggs in the Stand. So thanks for popping on tonight. I want to let you jet and get back to the brats. I know they're cooking on the grill, so I don't want them to let them burn, my man.
That's right. Thanks so much, Greg. Have a good night.
Yes, sir. Yeah, let's get that win. Bear down, my man. Bear down. So that was Mike Schaefer. A few more quick thoughts before I go and jet. As you might have heard, my beautiful daughter and loving wife and mother to my daughter, Jenny and Addison, have just walked in the door. So we're going to get to it here at the Braggs residence. My prediction, the mayor. Yeah, thank you for calling me mayor. Yes, a lot of people call me mayor. I got some fun stories behind that. One time at a Tom Petty concert at Wrigley Field, I had somebody begging me to run for mayor, and I'm considering it. You know, we'll see. I definitely think I'm made for office. But my prediction for the night, as I said before, I entered into the Midway Minute. My guy Kevin Kadick, you know, I enter my picks into his newsletter, and you should definitely be signing up for that each week. I have the Bears losing 24-13, ladies and gentlemen, until they show me something on the offensive line in the run game. They're too one-dimensional. You just have too many flaws to overcome. We're having the exact same issue the Bears had last year. You cannot decide, is it the O-line? Is it the run game? Is it the coach? Is it the quarterback? It's too impossible. There's too many flaws to overcome. You plug, it's like a boat, you know, sinking ship. You plug one hole and then water comes shooting out the other. And to me, changing who calls the plays is just shuffling the chairs on the Titanic. This is a bad situation, and I'd be very surprised tonight to see Bill Lazor get it turned around. I just know David Montgomery. I just got to see it. I really do. It's going to be tough, but we'll have to wait and see. I am an eternal optimist, so this is the kind of the crux in the road game. Because at 5-4, if they can get to 6-4 with 6 games left, you see an opportunity to make the back end of the playoffs. If they fall to 5-5, it's going to get real tough. And then you've got, of course, the Green Bay Packers coming up after the bye. So it's going to be interesting. I will not take that hat off, sir. I do not know why you are asking me to take off my hat, but I have a couple more things here before I let everybody jet. You know, Johnny B, of course, our guy Johnny B of Johnny Johnny B for 3 fame. He's the guy that comes on Brags in the Stands every Friday night at 7 p.m. Central and gives away some picks so you can make some money from your couch. He's a great friend of mine, and he's been doing an incredible job all year long here on Brags in the Stands, and he gave away some prop bets for tonight because, not only Johnny B's known for a lot of things, but he's our gambling connoisseur. So here are his prop bets for tonight.
B-side here from Brags in the Stands. Just want to remind you that we're giving away the Dan Hampton autographed 2002 Hall of Fame inscripted jersey with our next Chicago Bears Duck Race Legends Edition. This Friday on Brags in the Stands, you see the race, you can find out how to win. So tune in then. And I want to give some Monday Night Football prop bets out. How about Jimmy G? Anytime touchdown score. If the Bears get in, I think he might be the one at plus 165. And how about any of those Minnesota pass rushers over 0.5 sacks? If the Bears are losing, they're going to be throwing. We know about the offensive line, so I'm going to take a couple of those pass rushers, make some easy money. And how about Dalvin Cook for the first touchdown of the game? And with DraftKings, if you bet up to $20, you can get back if that player scores a touchdown at any time. Let's go. Football is almost here. Woo!
Gotta love our guy Johnny B. Always bringing the intensity, always bringing the heat, and helping you make some money from your couch. What better way to make some money from your couch? I'm your man Brags. This is Brags in the Stands, doing a quick little pregame show here, talking a little Bears Vikes. We got to get our thoughts here. Everybody's, in the chat getting fired up. I know this is a big, big showdown on Monday Night Football, and Kirk Cousins is winless on Monday Night Football, can't beat the Bears, can't win on prime time. So there's a lot of different things that I feel like work in the Bears' favor, but at the same time, when Matt Nagy has beaten the Vikings every time he's faced them so far, to me, it's a law of averages, so that makes me a little nervous there. And, Eric Lona asked, don't I think defensively we can limit Cook and make Cousins try to beat us? Absolutely, that is going to be their game plan tonight. As you saw last week against the Tennessee Titans, the Bears were able to keep Derrick Henry in check, and how many teams can say they are able to do that? So, I definitely think that's going to be their game plan. Last year, Dalvin Cook was one of the hottest running backs coming into Soldier Field in October, and the Bears completely shut him down on their way to a win. That was the game where Mitch Trubisky went down with an injury, and they still handled them in that game. So I definitely think that's their game plan. But man, the Bears offense has seemed to regress even worse than they were last year somehow. And I truly did not think that was possible. And, all the different things that has happened, since they benched Mitch in the third game and then they bring in Nick Foles, I feel like our heads are spinning every game. You got the miracle comeback against the Falcons. Then they lose to the Colts. Then we got a miracle win against the Bucks. And now you're like, okay, what? You don't know what to think. Then they beat the Panthers and you're like, all right, now we're cooking, and now we're on a 3-game slide. And I'm almost at the point as a fan that I just want to hit the reset button. To me, I'm willing to give this team a shot tonight if they can bounce back and get back on track, get to 6-4, and then find their way to battle here in these last 6 games. Of course, I want the Bears to make the playoffs, but it's just, man, as bad as they look offensively, as confused as they look offensively, those are my biggest concerns. And I'm not a half measure type of fan. Either make the playoffs and compete for a championship, or get everybody out of here, wipe the slate clean, get a new GM, head coach, and quarterback combination in here. You see what the Arizona Cardinals are doing right now. Miraculous throw yesterday by Kyler Murray to DeAndre Hopkins. Arizona drafted Josh Rosen not too long ago, 3 years ago, and they cut the cord like that. And they said, you know what? We got to do what's best for our franchise here. And they got rid of their coach, they got rid of their quarterback, and they totally took a total different franchise shift. And then they bring in Kyler Murray, and yeah, it was somewhat of a reset button, but guess what? It was for the betterment of the franchise. And at some point, I think the Bears are going to have to make that decision. Rubber meets the road tonight on Monday Night Football. So that's going to be, the big storyline. Can the Bears bounce off the mat? If not, moving to 5-5. I know a lot of Bears fans are already at the point of wanting to see a reset button, and I think a lot more will be even pushed even further to that. And I did see somebody asking in the chat about our guy, what about the Ducks? Because as we said, how do we race ducks? We race ducks with our guy Johnny B here, because that is the other thing he is known for. And he has a huge announcement, as he said in the Johnny B props promo, as I just showed. You have a chance to win a Dan Hampton signed jersey here on Brags in the Stands coming up this Friday night. And we got a huge special guest coming on, but I'm not going to give that away just yet. But this is the signed jersey you have a chance to win. And as I said, Johnny B's not only known for his gambling, know-how, but he's also known for his infamous duck races. And we have our own Chicago Bears duck races here. So here's the preview to the duck race that we'll be showing this Friday night. And when you tune in this Friday night, you can learn exactly how to win that signed Dan Hampton jersey. So here's the duck.
What's up to Greg and Jake? Just want to say what's up as we're doing our Bears edition of duck races. Sweetness got it done last time we raced in the first race in Bear Down duck race history. And you know what? I met Sweetness one time, and the only thing I could say is I wish he really would have got that touchdown in the Super Bowl. Refrigerator Perry? Nah, give it to Sweetness over the top. One of the nicest guys I ever met. Let's take a look at the ducks. You got the coach. You got McMahon, Punky QB, Hester, Gale Sayers, Butkus, Erlacher, and of course, Greg's boy Tommy Waddle. Ducks line up. And of course, as you probably know by now, if you don't, it's the first duck under the flag here at the second ever Bear Down, and they're off. And it's the Punky QB in the lead, and now it's 54. Bald is beautiful as he goes down the creaky, streaky area, and he looks behind him, and he's got a little lead. It's Ulracher with the lead, and Sweetness trying to go back-to-back. And here comes Butkus. But Big Brian's got the lead, and he's got...
So there it is, Jeff. That is how we race ducks here at Brags in the Stands. So this is what it's all about. This is what we do. Have a little fun. Try to give back to the fans. You know, it was really appreciative of Mike Schaefer for joining us tonight here on Brags in the Stands real quickly from We the Fans. You know, really cool documentary. You can find some of that stuff on YouTube still. And there's Mike right there, as you saw a little bit earlier. And there's the different face mask gaitors you can get, as you saw Matt Nagy was wearing the other night. So I would definitely wanted to give Mike a spotlight tonight on the pregame show. And this is the pregame show. Hopefully the Bears can win. And yeah, welcome back, Jeff. I appreciate you tuning in. That's what it's all about. Johnny B is a man of many talents, and he loves his duck races. We used to live in that community where that creek is, and he's been doing them ever since the pandemic started. And he's a huge Chief fan, and he's been doing all these Chiefs duck races. So I had to integrate it somehow here at Brags in the Stands. So, you know, as I said, this is what it's all about. Last week I was at the game. There you can see it, Tennessee, loving life in the stands. Probably my only game for the year that I'm going to get to be in the stands. And you can get our, sweatshirts and T-shirts. As you can see, we got the Cash Mooney design. We got some different ones. We still want to extend AR, and you can get all these different shirts on our website, which is, of course, on Teespring. And there's the .com right there. You got mugs, you can get stickers, and everything else in between. And we appreciate all the support nonetheless on that. So that about wraps things up here on Brags in the Stands pregame show. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I miss my guy Jake. We're going to be back for the postgame show tonight. Immediately following the game, we'll be covering the Matt Nagy press conference. And hopefully we got some good things to hear. Hopefully we're hearing about how Bill Lazor got this team back on. Sorry, I had to cover my mouth there while I coughed. And hopefully Matt Nagy and Bill Lazor get this team back on track, because I know Matt probably was stressing out all week long in his war room, where he's got all his old play sheets. He can pretty much throw those in the garbage now, because we got Bill Lazor's got this from here. Hopefully, we don't need any more replacements on who's calling the plays, because I did put a poll on Twitter and of who you'd want the Bears calling plays this week. And I put the options of Matt Nagy, Bill Lazor, John DeFilippo, and then, of course, Bears Twitter. And 50% running away was Bears Twitter. So, greetings from Canada. How you doing, Rick Duvall? We're here at Brags in the Stands. And again, hopefully all you guys can join us after the game, the conclusion of Bears Vikings Monday Night Football here on Brags in the Stands. We'll be doing a post-game show, like I said, covering the Matt Nagy and Nick Foles pressers, and hopefully we're talking about a Bears win, as I said. So, again, thank you for everybody joining us. I'm just making sure I got everything, all my stuff lined up. and made sure I covered it all. Hopefully Ryan Nall has a big night. We're going to see a little bit from Lamar Miller. I'm really interested to see about that. That's going to be probably the two biggest things I got my eyes on is the run game, because the only way this team is ever going to be able to get anything going offensively is with some balance. So they got to be able to run the ball at some point, or we're just going to continue to see 3-and-outs. So hopefully we get to see something, but enjoy the game tonight. I'm going to get to the hitting the bottle of Jack, might have a few shots of whiskey to shake the nerves. All y'all bear down. Enjoy your night. We'll catch you on the post game.